Welcome in everyone, James here, and it is the second week of Dark Tour 2025. In this video I'm going to be showing you the portals and what I think is the best ways to tackle them. Now a lot of people have already asked me how to fight this portal, what are the best heroes, best combinations and stuff like that, and there's a lot of confusion around what is happening here because in the level 55 portal, if you are above level 55, the enemies are scaling to your level. So if you are level 70, you go in there, all the enemies are level 70. It makes it a lot more difficult, and a lot of people are finding this event a lot more tricky than the previous events that didn't scale to your level. Now I have asked the devs and they have told me that from this event forward, all of the events will have the level 55 portal that scales to your level. If you are above level 55, the enemies in there will be the same level as you. Now a lot of people are finding them difficult, so in this video I'm going to tell you what I think is the best ways to do it. I'm going to tell you how I do it, and as those next events come out I will probably do more videos like this and show you what I think are the best ways to tackle them. But this one is Dark Tour, and not only is Samael featured in this event, a lot of these portals, a lot of these events are great use cases for Samael. Doesn't even matter what class you are, because what he does is his base power will hit the entire front row and it will delay their powers, and that comes incredibly handy in a lot of these portals. So first of all here, I'm going to show you how I auto the portal. This is probably my most asked question, and this is the build that I'm using. It's just my mythic gear. It's exactly the same setup you have seen me using in the caves, except now the hero charms are hunter class, because I'm recording stuff for the hunter class. I'm doing the monster caves and stuff, so I'm technically a hunter main here, and this is 375% hunter power. Is quite a lot because they're all unique charms. And I've got the damage hammer here as well. It has 2 crit chain chance charms and 3 crit chain damage charms. That's for the 100% chance to crit on chain attacks. The chain attacks are the second and third one in any combo, so when you are autoing, it will use a hero power for the first turn, and then it will attack with the chain start and then 2 chain attacks every turn. That's why chain attack is better than ultimate attack. And the heroes here are Samael and Istara. The reason I've got Istara there as well as Samael is because it's single target damage and it's quite high damage. Now in my opinion, when you are autoing these portals, you can either go with high damage or you can go with a healer. It depends how much damage you are taking. Now because my hammer is pretty stacked, it's going to do quite a lot of damage to these enemies. I'm showing you it with the Logician's Gauntlet as well, which is not a hammer boost gauntlet, but it's going to speed Istara up. You're going to see Istara hitting the enemies a lot more often in this first run, which is kind of good and it's kind of bad at the same time, because I'm not getting the hammer boost and I'm not speeding Samael up. So in the second run I'm going to equip the Lawful Gauntlet and show you the sort of variation with the Lawful Gauntlet, because the Lawful Gauntlet has the hammer damage boost, so it's going to make my damage hammer do even more damage, and it's going to speed Samael up to make him delay the enemies more often. And I find this is the better tactic to go with the Lawful Gauntlet to speed up Samael. The more often Samael goes off, the less often you're going to get hit with Doom. What Doom does is it will take 1/3 of your total armor and health pool. It's not like Final Fantasy X Doom where it just takes 1/3 of whatever health you've got left and you can stand there all day. If you get hit by 3 of these, you are essentially dead. So you either need a healer to offset this or enough damage to get through it before you start taking heavy damage from multiple Doom ticks. When you are playing on auto, it's kind of inevitable you are going to eat a couple of these Doom ticks, but it's kind of getting the balance right. You can see I'm doing a lot more damage here just with the hammer boost from the gauntlet, which is helping in this case. And then I'm speeding Samael up to get delay more often as well, so it does kind of really work together for the portals with the Lawful Gauntlet, damage hammer and Samael. This is how I've been autoing it, and it is pretty straightforward, but obviously all my stuff is like super high tier stuff. I've got all unique charms, and this is a proper end game build. And I fully appreciate that 90% of the level 70 players in there will not have this kind of build. So for the next section of the video, what I'm going to do is show you a couple of sort of lower level builds. So I'm going with the Alchemist class. I'm going with Grim at level 70 and Bacon here. I'm going to equip the 100% Protect weapon and the Chaotic Gauntlet. And then to add to that, I'm going to equip 200% Alchemist power. If you are level 70 and you're an Alchemist main, I would expect you to have somewhere around 150-200% hero power. If you have a little bit less, that's absolutely fine. The rounds will just take you a little bit longer. What I'm trying to do here is kind of simulate a sort of a newer player, but like not brand new player. Try to simulate what sort of a mid-game player would have with this kind of setup here. So you got 200% Alchemist power here. You have the Chaotic Gauntlet maxed out, and you have Grim and Bacon. If you do play Alchemist, I would expect you to have Grim or Ayako up to your level. If you go with Ayako, you get the stun, but you don't get any damage on the rage. So it's kind of a little bit of trade-off, but Grim is blue, so you can't use him in the DoD. So it's kind of a little bit of trade-off. I'm Team Grim all the way. I think he's awesome. Even though he's blue, you get the freeze on the base power, you get damage to all enemies on rage, and you get a massive heal. You heal, the more enemies there are, the bigger heal you're gonna get. And then you have Bacon there. What he does is he hits in a cone. So if there's two enemies on the back row, sort of over the shoulder of the one you are looking at, it will hit all three in sort of a cone shape. But what I'm doing here is I'm swinging the weapon to get Protect, and then I'm just punching. Because if you do have a 100% Protect weapon, I would expect you to have leveled up the hammer instead of leveling up the sword, because the sword is for the rift. It's just to give you the Protect buff. You don't really need any damage out of it. It's only there to give you the Protect buff, so that's what I'm trying to simulate here by only swinging it once every now and then to get the Protect. Grim Freeze is pretty reliable, but it does fail sometimes in this portal. The enemies in this portal are not resistant, but they're not vulnerable to freeze. So it won't land all the time, but it will land pretty often. And you'll notice this run is a little bit slower. Obviously, if you are a newer player, you're going to have to take your time. You can't just hit auto. You're not going to have a super high level unique charm crit chain build on your hammer. So I'm just trying to simulate what kind of stage I think other players will be. I know a couple of players in my guild that will be at this kind of stage. So this is going to look pretty similar to them. In the next run, I'm going to take it back even further and show you another build. But regardless of what class you play, your main hero should be the weakened hero for that class. So if it's Alchemist, it will be Grim or Ayako at max stars. If you play Warrior, it will be Logan. If you play Hunter, it will be max star Lanasa. If you play Mage, it will be max star Dokyo. Or if you play Rogue, it will be Lucius. Lucius is kind of interesting because his rage distributes, which means he's not great when there's a full lineup of enemies there. He's not great until there's only 2 enemies left, and then he's slightly better than the other ones. It's a weird thing, and his base power takes forever to charge up to give you that Protect as well. But the fact that he has both Weaken and Protect is pretty decent. Now what I'm going to do for the second run here is I'm going to equip Anara. Now my Anara is level 65 and I left her in the shrine because I completely did not plan this ahead. So it just cost me 20 gems. But Anara just got a massive buff. She will charge in 5 turns with Alchemist Speed Gauntlet. The Chaotic Gauntlet is the one you want to go for. And she will give you 3 turns of Protect. Now it used to only be 1 turn, but you get 3 turns of Protect. And you get her pretty much at the beginning of the game. So the tutorial gives you Grim. The end of the first area gives you Anara. And then you have an end game build like 10 minutes into the game. All you need to do from there is get to Grim's Hunt and farm him up to max stars, and you have yourself an end game build. What I'm doing here is I have the sword still equipped, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to punch, so you can completely ignore the fact that I've got a weapon here. I'm using Anara for Protect. Mine is on a level 65. The rage damage did pretty decent damage, but the burn damage is low. I expect that to be quite a bit higher when you get her to level 70, but I haven't ranked it up yet. I actually need some more drops of Serenity, but I would expect her burn to be pretty great at level 70. She is also fantastic to have in the Realm of Fire as well. When you first get to that bit with the vampires and there's the undead enemies there, just spam off a couple of Anara rages and they will all just drop dead from the burn. It's fantastic. Take some rage potions with you, level 35 Anara, just spam off a couple of rages. Everything just drops dead at the end of the turn. It's fantastic. So you can see I'm just kind of taking it slow here. The archers, they can't put doom on you, so they're not too bad really. The big swordsman guys, if you watch, their power only charges up when you hit them 3 times. So if you hit them twice and then move on to the next enemy next to them, you can kind of prolong it and get away with them not using doom on you, which is a big tactic that you should be using if you're kind of underpowered going into this portal. So you will see in this run that I start using hero powers instead of hitting the enemy, and I'm trying to kind of deal damage but at the same time prolong it a little bit so that I don't hit him 3 times and charge his power up as quickly as he can charge up. And then as well, because you have the alchemy speed gone and you have Grim, you punch 3 times and then Grim is charged, so then you get a chance to freeze. It deals pretty decent damage, but because you can use Grim's base power at the end of the turn, you have a chance to freeze the enemy and then hold him there so he can't use the Doom power on you. And then even if you do get hit with Doom, you have Grim, so you can just rage and heal all that damage straight back up again. So yeah, it takes a little bit longer, it's quite slow, but it works. It's just kind of a matter of bolstering your survivability with weaken on the enemies, protect on yourself. Weaken on the enemies will lower their damage by 35%, and then protect on yourself will lower the incoming damage by another 35%, and they stack together because they're 2 separate statuses. So you're essentially creating 70% damage negation just by using these 2 heroes that you get within the first 10 minutes of the game. Wormwood does charge a little bit quicker than Anara, but you don't have to farm Anara to get her max stats. She just comes with that protect. Absolutely fantastic buff that she has just received, and that is how I recommend you fight the portal. You can either auto if you have the build for it, or just take it slow. Make sure you take heals with you, or a form of delay with you, or a form of crowd control like Grim there with the freeze. Weaken and protect definitely helps the innate damage that you're going to get from just their regular attacks as well. So depending on what class you are and who your weaken hero is, kind of work around that a little bit. Take your time with it. Use the strongest weapon you have. Obviously I was just there punching everything just to demonstrate what kind of a newer player would look like. And even though these enemies are level 70 and my punches do like 100k damage, it scales to your level. So if you are like level 59 or 61 or something random like that, the numbers are going to be different, but it's going to play exactly the same as what I've just showed you because of the scaling. So take your time with it, don't rush, kind of manage that doom, manage how often they can put it on you and stuff like that, and just be mindful what's going on the field. And that is it from me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have been James B09. Good luck out there. Wait, are you still here? Well, thank you for watching to the end of the video, and I suppose I better show you how to get some free stuff. So if you go in the game and have a look, you will find the social button, and this thing is pretty cool because it has links to the Reddit and Discord community. The Facebook and Instagram ones are just the Knighthood pages, but the Reddit and the Discord one, these are where you're going to find the community. You can go there, ask any questions you like, and you might even find me knocking about in there. But definitely, if you want to learn more, get yourself into the Reddit or the Discord. There's plenty of guides and knowledgeable people floating about in both of those. But what you can do as well is if you press the Night Hub button, it will automatically log you in You have news, updates, all kinds of stuff in here, and it will just tell you what's going on. But what you can do is if you press on the top left there and go to the web store, you are automatically logged in and you can buy stuff in here. If you want to spend a little bit of money, you will get stuff for a little bit cheaper than they will be in the game, so that's definitely not a bad thing. But what you can do is you can claim yourself some free chests. There will be a free gold chest and a free gem chest. If you go in there regularly, collect those chests. It's definitely worth doing because you're getting free loot. And that really is it from me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have been James Beyond 9. Good luck out there.